Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. The story of a single penny might seem like a small story, but the 1994 D1 cent coin is rich with history and detail that spans over a century of American culture and coin production. Imagine for a moment holding a humble little copper-plated zinc disc in your hand. It weighs just 2.5 grams. It measures about 19 millimeters across, barely the size of a foreign dime. And stamped on its face is not just monetary value, but over 100 years of deep artistic, cultural, and manufacturing evolution. This script is about that coin. The 1994 D penny, minted in Denver in the year 1994, its origins, its design, its physical characteristics, what it's really worth on the market, and everything that makes it fascinating to collectors and everyday people alike. It begins with why the Lincoln cent exists at all. The very first Lincoln cent was struck in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. President Theodore Roosevelt famously wanted U.S. coins to reflect beautiful and meaningful art, so he asked the Treasury Department to replace some of the older designs. Victor David Brenner, an artist and engraver, was chosen to design the new penny. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, based on a photograph, was distinctive because it was the first time an American president had appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. Every Lincoln cent ever struck since 1909 carries something of Brenner's legacy. Now roll forward to 1994. By this time, the Lincoln cent had been in continuous production for 85 years. For most of that span, the penny was made of solid copper. In 1982, due to rising metal costs, the U.S. Mint changed the penny's composition. Instead of solid copper, it became copper-plated zinc. That means the 1994 penny is mostly zinc, roughly 97.5%, with about 2.5% copper plating fused onto the outside. That copper breathes the traditional penny color, but beneath it is a core of zinc. That's a big reason why a 1994 penny weighs just 2.5 grams instead of the older copper pennies, which weighed over 3 grams. On the obverse, the front of the coin, you will see the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Above his head is the United States motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of the bust is the word liberty, and to the right is the date, 1994. Just below the date is the tiny letter D, the mint mark that tells you this specific coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Those mint marks are collectibles bread and butter, a tiny letter with big meaning. It tells where the coin was made, and often coins from certain mints or years are more interesting to collectors than others. On the reverse side, the back of the coin, you will find a detailed depiction of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design by Frank Gasparo was first introduced in 1959 and remained standard through 2008. It's a beautiful little architectural rendering, and if you look closely at high magnification, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a nested portrait of sorts, living within the coin itself. Around the image are inscribed United States of America along the top, and at the bottom, 1 cent denoting the denomination. Above the memorial is the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. In terms of production volume, the 1994 D penny was one of the most prolific. The Denver Mint struck over 7.1 billion of these coins in that one year. That's billions with a B, making this coin very common in the grand scale of numismatics. That huge mintage is one reason why most of these pennies are only worth their face value, 1 cent, when found in everyday loose pocket change. If you look at the average coin you might pull from a jar or a cash register, that's most likely what you'll find. A nice ordinary 1994 D penny worth exactly $0.01. So, if the vast majority are so common, what makes certain specimens more valuable? In coin collecting, the value above face rarely comes from normal circulation strikes that have been jostled around in pockets and change trays. Instead, what collectors pay attention to is condition and grade, how well preserved the coin is. Modern coins like the 1994 D penny can sell for a premium if they are in uncirculated condition, meaning they show no signs of wear and have full mint luster. Those coins are often labeled with grades like MS60, MS65, MS67, and so on, with higher numbers indicating better condition. To give you a sense of scale, a 1994 D penny in low uncirculated grade might be worth a few dollars. With higher grades, especially MS67 or above from a major grading service like PCGS or NGC, you might see values in the tens or hundreds of dollars. Exceptional coins with perfect eye appeal can command even more, though not anywhere near the mythical $262 million figure often floated around on unverified websites. Rare grading census coins can, in extreme cases, break into the hundreds or thousands of dollars on the open market, but coins graded that high are exceedingly rare. Another way collectors find value is through varieties and errors. These aren't just run-of-the-mill pennies. They're versions of the coin where something unusual happened during production. For example, die doubling, off-center strikes, double dies, and other mint errors can turn an otherwise common coin into something more collectible. For the 1994 series, there's no widely recognized close AM error that's cataloged like it is for other years. But coins with major striking errors can still attract interest and sometimes significant prices from niche collectors. Again, though, these are exceptions, not the rule. Now let's talk about weight and specifications in a bit more detail. The 1994 D penny, like all modern Lincoln cents from 1982 onward, weighs 2.50 grams. It has a plain, smooth edge, no reeding or ornamentation. Its diameter is 19.05 millimeters, which means it's small and light enough to carry millions of them in a small box. Its composition is modern copper-plated zinc, a response to economic realities where pure copper became too expensive to use in mass-produced coins. The journey of the 1994 D penny doesn't stop at its basic design and composition, because what truly makes modern coins interesting is how they are created, handled, stored, discovered, and eventually evaluated by collectors years later. To understand why even a common coin like this can sometimes attract attention and money, you have to understand what happens inside a United States mint facility, especially the Denver Mint, where billions of these pennies were born in 1994 inside the Denver Mint. The process begins with huge coils of zinc metal that are fed into blanking presses. These presses punch out small round discs known as planchets. At this stage, they are just plain metal blanks with no design, no lettering, and no date. These planchets are then washed, polished, and prepared for striking. After preparation, they are fed into high-speed coining presses that strike each blank with tremendous pressure. Two steel dies come together in a fraction of a second, impressing the Lincoln portrait on one side and the Lincoln Memorial on the other. This happens so fast that thousands of coins can be struck every minute. In 1994, the Denver Mint was operating at near full capacity, producing coins not for collectors, but for everyday commerce. America needed change, and the penny was still heavily used in transactions. Because of this demand, quality control focused on speed and volume rather than perfection. That's why many 1994 D pennies show weak strikes, minor die wear, or surface marks. These small imperfections are normal and expected in circulation coins, and they are one reason most examples are not valuable today. However, among the billions struck, a very small number were struck with exceptional clarity. These coins received full strikes, strong details in Lincoln's hair and beard, crisp lettering, and sharp lines on the Lincoln Memorial. When these coins were released, some were set aside immediately by collectors or by people who happened to save rolls of new pennies from banks. Others survived untouched in sealed mint bags or original bank rolls, never entering circulation at all. Fast forward years later, and these untouched coins become the focus of grading services. Professional grading companies examine each coin under magnification, looking for wear, contact marks, luster quality, strike strength, and eye appeal. Even the tiniest scratch can lower a coin's grade. This is why two 1994 D pennies that look similar to the naked eye can have wildly different values once graded. One might be worth only a few cents, while another could sell for hundreds of dollars if it achieves a very high mint state grade point. One of the biggest misunderstandings in modern coin collecting is the belief that age alone creates value. The 1994 D penny is not ancient, and it is not rare in terms of quantity. Its potential value comes from condition rarity, not mintage rarity. When collectors say a coin is rare, they often mean that very few examples exist in top condition, not that the coin itself is scarce overall. This is a crucial concept for anyone searching through pocket change hoping to strike it rich. The internet has played a major role in spreading exaggerated values for coins like the 1994 D-penny. Viral posts, misleading videos, and sensational headlines often claim values in the millions, sometimes even hundreds of millions of dollars. These figures are not supported by auction records or professional numismatic data. What usually happens is that someone sees an extremely rare coin from a different year or a unique error coin and mistakenly associates that value with a common circulation coin. Over time, the number becomes repeated so often that people begin to believe it. That said, the fascination with what if is powerful. People love the idea that something small and overlooked could secretly be worth a fortune. That emotional pull is one reason pennies are still collected so heavily today. The 1994 D penny represents hope, curiosity, and the thrill of the hunt. Even if the chances are slim, millions of people still check their change, inspect their coin jars, and dream of finding something extraordinary. Another layer of interest comes from mint errors. While the 1994 D penny does not have a famous, officially recognized variety like some other years, individual error coins do exist. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and die cracks occasionally occurred during production. When such errors are dramatic and easily visible, collectors may pay significant premiums. These prices can range from tens of dollars to several $100s, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Again, these are exceptions, but they add mystery to the series. The Lincoln Memorial reverse itself carries symbolic weight. It connects the penny to one of America's most important monuments, representing unity, sacrifice, and the preservation of the Union. In 1994, America was experiencing social and economic changes, and the penny quietly continued its role as a constant presence in everyday life. Children used them in school projects, adults tossed them into tip jars, and collectors stored them away in albums and rolls. The physical durability of the copper-plated zinc penny also plays a role in value. Zinc is softer and more reactive than copper, meaning modern pennies corrode more easily when damaged. If the copper plating is breached, the zinc core can oxidize and bubble, permanently damaging the coin. This is why truly pristine 1994 D pennies are harder to find today than people expect. Time, moisture, and handling have destroyed many high-grade examples. Collectors who focus on modern coins often search through original bank-wrapped rolls from the 1990s, hoping to find untouched gems. Some even buy entire boxes of pennies from that era to search for top-grade examples. This practice, known as roll hunting, has become popular because it combines affordability with the thrill of discovery. The 1994 D penny is a frequent target simply because of its massive production and the possibility that a few perfect coins are still hiding. Another fascinating aspect is how grading populations affect value. If only a handful of 1994 D pennies have been graded at the highest levels, competition among collectors can drive prices upward. This doesn't mean the coin is inherently rare, but it means the number of known perfect examples is small. In the coin world, perception and registry competition often influence prices as much as historical importance. As years pass, fewer high-grade coins remain ungraded, and the market slowly stabilizes. Values rise and fall based on collector interest, grading trends, and economic conditions. The penny itself may be humble, but the market surrounding it is complex and dynamic. The 1994 D penny sits quietly within this system, sometimes ignored, sometimes searched for obsessively, always carrying its small piece of American history. And as people continue to debate whether the penny should even exist in modern commerce, coins like the 1994 D Lincoln cent become time capsules. They represent an era when the penny was still widely used, when cash transactions were common, and when billions of coins moved through human hands every year. That context gives even the most ordinary coin a story worth telling. This ongoing story is why collectors, historians, and everyday people alike continue to talk about the 1994 D penny. Not because it is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but because it connects the past to the present in a way few objects can. It is small, it is simple, and it carries more meaning than its face value suggests. The story of the 1994 D penny is not just about metal, design, or numbers. It is also about the people who collect, study, and preserve these coins. Collecting coins is both an art and a science. For many collectors, the Lincoln Cent series is the backbone of their hobby. Unlike rare gold or silver coins, Lincoln Cents are accessible to almost everyone, yet they contain layers of complexity that keep enthusiasts engaged for a lifetime. Each coin carries subtle variations that only careful observation can reveal, and the 1994 D penny, while common in quantity, still offers these nuances to the trained eye. Collectors often start with a basic desire to complete a date and mint set. For the Lincoln Cent, that means obtaining at least one coin from every year and every mint. In 1994, there were two major mints producing pennies: Philadelphia, marked P, and Denver, marked D. The Denver coins are slightly more plentiful, but both are widely available. For a collector completing a set, the goal isn't scarcity, but condition. A well-preserved 1994 D penny fits perfectly into the collection if it has minimal wear and retains its original luster. Luster is the reflective quality of the coin's surface, often described as the shine or glint that makes the coin appear almost new even decades later. A fascinating aspect of coin collecting is the psychology of perceived value. The 1994 D penny itself may not be rare, but because it is part of a long-standing series featuring Abraham Lincoln, it carries symbolic weight. The human brain associates the familiar face of Lincoln with history, integrity, and national identity. This subconscious connection adds perceived value beyond the metal itself. Even though the coin is mostly zinc, people are willing to pay premiums for examples in pristine condition. The combination of cultural significance, historical continuity, and the hunt for perfection drives the market. Auction history offers additional insight. While everyday 1994 D pennies rarely appear at high-profile auctions, certain mint state examples occasionally surface. Coins graded MS-66, MS-67, or MS-68 by PCGS or NGC have sold for hundreds of dollars, particularly when they exhibit perfect strike, exceptional luster, and flawless surfaces. Roll hunting enthusiasts sometimes find these gems, though they are exceedingly rare. The thrill of discovering an untouched 1994 D penny in a pile of circulated coins is akin to finding a time capsule, an object preserved exactly as it left the mint decades earlier. Errors also add intrigue to the 1994 D penny story. In some cases, coins were struck slightly off-center, or the dies were misaligned, creating visual anomalies that collectors prize. Even small die cracks or double strikes can make a coin more desirable, although these error coins are uncommon. Their value depends on severity, rarity, and demand among specialized collectors. A dramatic off-center 1994 D penny, for instance, could fetch tens or even hundreds of dollars at auction. Collectors often compete for these anomalies, and the excitement surrounding error coins adds a layer of unpredictability to the market. Another reason the 1994 D penny attracts attention is the broader cultural fascination with small fortunes. Popular media, online videos, and social platforms frequently exaggerate coin values, fueling the idea that any ordinary-looking penny could be worth millions. While the $262 million figure floating around for a 1994 D penny is purely mythical, it captures the imagination. This mix of fact, fiction, and hope keeps collectors engaged and motivates many to examine every coin they own, even pennies they've had in jars for decades. The technical specifications of the 1994 D penny also contribute to its collectability. Measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter with a mass of 2.5 grams, the coin is small but remarkably detailed. Every detail on Lincoln's face, hair, and coat is a product of precision engraving and careful die preparation. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design allows for extraordinary detail in miniature, including the tiny statue of Lincoln seated within the memorial. High-grade coins reveal these details clearly, while lower-grade circulated examples may have worn down over time. Collectors prize these fine details, as they demonstrate the coin's quality and the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. The survival rate of pristine 1994 D pennies is also a key factor. While billions were produced, most were spent in everyday transactions. Handling, temperature changes, humidity, and accidental damage all degrade the coin's surface. The ones that survive in perfect condition often come from rolls that were never circulated or from collectors who recognized the importance of saving coins when they were first minted. Over time, the number of untouched examples diminishes, which is why Mint State 1994 D pennies can command higher prices than casual circulation strikes. The 1994 D penny is also a snapshot of the economic and cultural context of the 1990s. In that decade, cash was still king in everyday transactions. Coins like the penny were essential for purchases, tipping, and vending machines. People carried them in their pockets, used them in banks, and tossed them into fountains for luck. This era predates widespread digital payment, making the 1994 D penny a tangible reminder of a more tactile monetary system. Collectors often appreciate coins not just for their intrinsic or market value, but as artifacts of history that connect them to a specific time and place that in numismatic studies. Even common pennies like the 1994 D are examined for production techniques. Researchers look at die wear patterns, striking pressure, and planchet quality to understand mint operations. Variations in metal composition, such as differences in zinc alloy or copper plating thickness, can affect the coin's durability and appearance. These technical aspects make modern coin collecting surprisingly detailed and scientific, blending history, chemistry, metallurgy, and artistry into one hobby. Collectors who study these elements gain a deeper appreciation for the seemingly simple 1-cent coin. Finally, the 1994 D penny exemplifies the enduring appeal of the Lincoln Cent series. Despite its modest denomination, it connects generations of Americans to history, design, and the continuity of the U.S. Mint. Collectors, historians, and casual enthusiasts all recognize the coin as more than currency. It is a miniature canvas of national identity, technological achievement, and historical storytelling. Every scratch, luster mark, and die detail contributes to a narrative that stretches back to 1909 and forward into the present. The coin's cultural resonance, combined with the thrill of discovery and the technical artistry of minting, makes the 1994 D Lincoln penny a surprisingly rich subject for exploration. It demonstrates how even the smallest objects can carry immense stories and meaning. From the moment it left the Denver Mint presses to the hands of millions of Americans, the 1994 D penny has quietly participated in history, commerce, and personal memories, and it continues to do so today. The market for the 1994 D penny is a fascinating interplay between reality, perception, and human desire. Unlike extremely rare coins from the 1800s, which have very limited surviving examples, the 1994 D penny is common in circulation, yet it still commands attention from collectors due to condition and potential error coins. Over the decades, the value of these pennies has fluctuated based on demand from collectors, the popularity of roll hunting, and the influence of grading services. When professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC certify a coin at a high grade, the result can dramatically affect its market value. An MS65 or MS66 coin may sell for a modest premium, while an MS67 or higher coin with exceptional luster and strike can fetch hundreds of dollars, sometimes even reaching the low thousands in rare instances, depending on eye appeal and market interest at the time of sale. Collectors constantly analyze price guides and online marketplaces to understand market trends. For instance, a well-preserved 1994 D penny sold in the early 2000s for around $5 to $15 in MS65 condition. A decade later, that same coin could fetch $20 to $50 as interest in Lincoln Cent collections grew and fewer high-grade coins remained available. The scarcity of untouched coins in the best condition creates upward pressure on prices, even for modern issues that were minted in the billions. Coins that are stored improperly, exposed to air, moisture, or handling, often lose value, which makes untouched bank rolls from 1994 highly desirable. Roll hunting, the practice of searching through original rolls of pennies from the bank, has fueled much of the collector market for 1994 D pennies. Enthusiasts buy boxes of uncirculated pennies in the hopes of finding a gem, a coin that retains perfect strike, brilliant luster, and no contact marks. The excitement is amplified by the potential to discover an error coin, a doubled die, off-center strike, or die crack. While such coins are rare, when they are found, they can bring hundreds of dollars at auction. Stories of collectors finding such error coins add a human drama to what might otherwise seem like a simple copper-plated zinc disc. The thrill of discovery is a psychological factor that keeps collectors invested in even common coins like the 1994 D-penny. Another fascinating component of the 1994 D-pennies market is the myth versus reality phenomenon. Many online sources claim astronomical values for common pennies, such as the $262 million figure circulating on social media. In reality, no 1994 D-penny has ever approached such a value. These claims often originate from confusion with truly rare coins or misinterpretation of error coin sales. Yet, despite the unrealistic claims, these myths have a powerful impact. They drive people to examine their coins more carefully, to seek professional grading, and to enter the numismatic hobby. In a sense, the myth itself has contributed to the coin's cultural significance and market attention. Grading plays a pivotal role in determining value. Professional services assess coins on multiple factors: strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and overall condition. Coins graded MS60 are considered uncirculated but may have minor contact marks or weaker strikes. MS65 coins are well struck and visually appealing. MS67 coins are exceptionally detailed, almost flawless, and MS68 coins are near perfect, often sought after by serious collectors. The difference between MS65 and MS67 might be just a few small marks or slightly less vibrant luster, but the price difference can be substantial. Coins that reach the highest grades, especially those with eye-catching brilliance and perfect strike, become the crown jewels for collectors attempting to complete date and mint sets in top condition. Collectors also pay attention to provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership. A 1994 D-penny with a verified uncirculated history, for example, preserved in original mint bags or obtained from a bank in 1994, carries a certain cachet. Coins with clear documentation of origin are more desirable because collectors can be confident that the coin has been preserved properly. This factor, combined with grading, can influence auction prices significantly. Stories of collectors who have spent decades hunting Lincoln cents underscore the emotional connection people have to these coins. Some individuals recall searching through jars left by grandparents, discovering uncirculated coins tucked away in forgotten drawers, or trading with other enthusiasts to complete a collection. These personal narratives add richness to the coin's history and elevate its perceived value beyond the metal itself. Even in 1994, D-penny, ordinary in many ways, becomes a piece of personal or familial history when tied to such stories. From a future perspective, the 1994 D-penny's value will likely continue to be driven by condition scarcity. As more circulated pennies degrade over time, fewer uncirculated examples remain available. Roll hunting enthusiasts, professional graders, and dedicated collectors will continue to seek out high-grade coins, pushing up market prices gradually. While it is unlikely that a 1994 D-penny will ever reach mythical multi-million-dollar figures, its importance in the Lincoln cent series ensures continued interest. The coin represents a tangible link to 1994, a snapshot of U.S. monetary history and everyday life at that time. Preservation is key for maintaining value. Collectors recommend storing high-grade pennies in coin holders, capsules, or albums, away from moisture, air exposure, and handling. Even a single fingerprint can reduce a coin's grade and, by extension, its market value. For modern coins like the 1994 D-penny, long-term care and careful storage are critical for keeping uncirculated examples pristine. This is why many numismatists view the hobby not just as collecting, but as stewardship, protecting history for future generations. In addition to individual collectors, the 1994 D-penny has educational and numismatic research value. Scholars study these coins to understand minting technology, metal composition changes, and production patterns at the Denver Mint in the 1990s. Observing minor die variations or striking inconsistencies informs broader research on mint operations. Even though these pennies were intended as everyday currency, They contribute to the scientific study of coinage, offering insights into metallurgy, mass production techniques, and quality control practices. Finally, the 1994 D penny embodies a blend of artistry, history, economics, and culture. Its copper-plated zinc surface, detailed Lincoln portrait, and intricate Lincoln memorial reverse tell a story of craftsmanship, national identity, and historical continuity. While most examples remain ordinary, the rare high-grade coins, unique errors, and well-documented provenance pieces reveal layers of complexity and value. For collectors, each coin is a story waiting to be told, a fragment of American history preserved in miniature. The 1994 D penny is proof that even the smallest coin can carry immense cultural and numismatic significance, capturing imagination, curiosity, and respect across decades. Even within the billions of 1994 D pennies produced, some coins carry anomalies that set them apart from the ordinary. Error coins, although rare, are a central fascination for collectors. These anomalies occur due to slight mishaps during the minting process, misaligned dies, improper striking pressure, or flaws in the planchet. A classic example is an off-center strike, where the metal blank doesn't align perfectly between the upper and lower dies. The result is a coin where part of the design is cropped, leaving part of Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial missing. While subtle off-center strikes might go unnoticed, dramatic examples are immediately recognizable and highly prized. Collectors actively search for these anomalies, hoping to uncover a 1-in-1,000 gem. Another type of error involves die cracks or die chips. Over time, the steel dies used to strike pennies develop tiny fractures. When a crack opens, it can leave raised lines or bumps on the surface of the coin. These irregularities are not flaws in the coin itself, but rather imprints of the minting process. A 1994 D penny with a pronounced die crack may appear unusual and even artistic, almost as if the coin has a story etched into it. The market rewards these coins with premiums that can range from tens to hundreds of dollars, depending on the size, visibility, and collector interest. Double dies represent yet another fascinating error. In this case, the coin is struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect on letters or numbers. For example, the word liberty or the date 1994 might appear doubled to the eye. While 1994 D is not widely known for major double die errors, minor varieties occasionally surface. Even minor die doubling can draw attention among specialized collectors and those focused on the Lincoln Cent series. Collectors pay close attention to every detail, scanning coins under magnification to detect any anomaly. Let's consider grading case studies. Imagine two 1994 D pennies, both appearing almost identical at first glance. One shows full luster, sharp strike details, and no surface marks. The other has tiny contact marks and slightly flattened hair detail on Lincoln's bust. A professional grading service might assign the first coin an MS-67 grade and the second an MS-65. That small difference in grading can translate into a significant difference in market value. The MS-67 coin might sell for hundreds of dollars, while the MS-65 coin may only fetch $20, $50. This illustrates why collectors obsess over details that might seem negligible to the casual observer. Auction records provide fascinating insights into real-world values. While no 1994 D penny has ever reached mythical figures like $262 million, high-grade specimens occasionally make headlines. An MS-66 example with flawless strike and exceptional eye appeal might sell for $150 to $300 at a specialized numismatic auction. Exceptional MS-67 coins can surpass $500. Roll hunting stories sometimes intersect with these auctions. A collector discovers an uncirculated roll from a bank in 1994, submits it for grading, and ends up with a prize coin that sells well above expected market value. These stories illustrate the thrill of collecting, the unpredictable nature of coin discovery, and the combination of luck and diligence that defines numismatics. Speculative collector stories amplify the cultural appeal. Consider the tale of a teenager in 2005 who found a pristine 1994 D penny in a jar inherited from a grandparent. The coin retained brilliant mint luster, crisp details, and no handling marks. After submitting it to a professional grading service, it was certified as MS-67. The teenager, previously unaware of coin collecting, suddenly held a coin valued at hundreds of dollars. Beyond the monetary reward, the discovery sparked a lifelong passion for numismatics. These narratives underscore why even coins considered common can transform lives and ignite interest. Error coins, high-grade examples, and the stories behind them create layers of value that transcend the coin's intrinsic material. While the 1994 D penny is primarily zinc with copper plating, collectors value it for condition, rarity of uncirculated examples, and uniqueness of errors. Its small size belies the richness of information it carries. Each coin tells a story of the minting process, the economic context of 1994, and the individual hands through which it passed. Looking ahead, the 1994 D penny will continue to attract interest from collectors focusing on the Lincoln Cent series. As circulating coins deteriorate over time, the scarcity of pristine examples increases. Roll hunting enthusiasts, auction participants, and specialized numismatists will continue to compete for high-grade coins and error varieties. Coins that survive in perfect condition will become increasingly important for collectors aiming to complete a date and mint set in top condition. The 1994 D penny is a bridge between the massive modern production era and the enduring appeal of collecting history in miniature. Preservation strategies remain critical for maintaining value. Collectors often store their coins in inert plastic holders, coin capsules, or archival quality albums. Exposure to moisture, air, and even skin oils can permanently degrade the copper plating, revealing the zinc core and reducing both visual appeal and market value. Coins stored properly, often untouched for decades, can retain brilliance as if freshly minted. This makes careful storage, handling with gloves, and minimal contact essential practices for modern Lincoln Cent collectors. Even casual observers can appreciate the artistry and history embedded in a 1994 D penny. The detailed bust of Abraham Lincoln, the intricate rendering of the Lincoln Memorial, the inscriptions of Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, all contribute to a miniature tableau of American heritage. Beyond face value, beyond zinc and copper, the coin carries a story of national identity, minting craftsmanship, and everyday life in the 1990s. The 1994 D penny is also a reflection of broader economic considerations. Rising copper costs in the early 1980s led to the copper-plated zinc composition that defines this coin. Its lightweight, durability, and ease of mass production reflect practical decisions in government minting policy. Yet within those constraints, the mint maintained artistic integrity, ensuring that even a humble 1-cent piece conveyed beauty, historical continuity, and symbolic weight. Collectors who focus on the 1994 D penny often look for combinations: high-grade plus unique provenance, plus a possible minor error. These factors together can elevate a coin from ordinary to highly desirable. The coin becomes a narrative object, a piece of history that engages the imagination as well as the eye. Each facet, the strike, the luster, the mint mark, the year, contributes to the story of the coin and its collector. Finally, the 1994 D penny embodies the enduring appeal of coins as historical artifacts, teaching tools, and collectibles. It reminds us that even the most common object can carry layers of meaning, and that careful observation, patience, and knowledge can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. Its millions in circulation belie the rare and exceptional examples that survive today, and its continued presence in collections worldwide ensures that the story of the Lincoln Cent remains vibrant and alive. As we reach the conclusion of this deep exploration into the 1994 D penny, it's important to reflect not only on its design and physical attributes, but also on the intricate process behind its creation. Minting a penny is far more than stamping metal. It's a precise orchestration of metallurgy, engineering, and artistry. Modern presses at the Denver Mint in 1994 struck millions of coins per day. The coining dies were engineered to exacting specifications, and every planchet had to meet strict thickness, diameter, and weight requirements. Deviations could result in coins that were rejected or classified as error coins. Understanding this process adds appreciation for even the most ordinary-looking 1994 D penny. Each one is a product of industrial precision combined with human oversight. Advanced collectors know that observing the coin under magnification reveals subtle details of the strike. Lincoln's hair and coat folds, the tiny features of the Lincoln Memorial, and the crispness of lettering all provide clues to the quality of the minting process. A strong strike with full detail is considered far more desirable than a weak strike, even if both coins are uncirculated. Collectors often spend hours examining coins under magnifying lenses or microscopes, assessing luster, surface marks, and the interplay of light across the copper-plated zinc surface. It's a discipline that combines scientific observation with aesthetic appreciation, turning the simple 1-cent coin into a miniature masterpiece of design and production. Comparative context further elevates understanding of the 1994 D penny. Within the Lincoln cent series, coins from the 1990s are generally common, but the modern pennies offer fascinating contrasts to earlier issues. The 1909 VDB penny, for example, is legendary among collectors for rarity and historical significance, while the 1994 D represents a modern era of mass production and widespread circulation. Yet despite the enormous difference in rarity and historical context, both coins share the same iconic portrait of Lincoln. This continuity makes the Lincoln cent series unique, a single design thread connecting over a century of American history. Collectors cherish the 1994 D not because it is rare, but because it is part of that enduring lineage. Speculation about the long-term market for 1994 D pennies is informed by both scarcity and cultural significance. As coins from the 1990s continue to age, the number of untouched, uncirculated specimens naturally diminishes. Fewer coins survive with full luster, no contact marks, and strong strikes. Over decades, those that are properly stored may appreciate in value, particularly high-grade examples and those with minor errors. While it is unlikely that even the finest 1994 D penny will ever approach mythical multi-million-dollar valuations, there is real potential for moderate appreciation for coins preserved with care, particularly as collectors increasingly focus on modern mint state examples and complete date and mint sets. Cultural significance also plays a key role. The penny remains one of the most recognized and widely collected coins in the world. Its small size and ubiquitous presence make it a perfect introduction to numismatics for young collectors, while its subtle variations and occasional errors provide lifelong challenges for serious enthusiasts. The 1994 D penny, like all Lincoln cents, is a tangible connection to American history, national identity, and the ongoing story of coinage in the United States. From school projects to numismatic research, from casual jar discoveries to high-stakes auctions, this humble coin has touched countless lives in myriad ways. Collectors today often combine multiple approaches when assessing the value and significance of a 1994 D penny. They examine condition under magnification, check for subtle errors, research provenance, compare against population reports from grading services, and even consider eye appeal and luster. For those who store coins in archival quality albums, the goal is to preserve brilliance, strike, and surface integrity for decades to come. Some collectors even document their collections extensively, photographing coins and maintaining meticulous records, elevating the hobby into a scholarly pursuit. In doing so, the 1994 D penny becomes more than currency. It becomes a historical artifact, a collectible, and a work of art. In conclusion, the 1994 D Lincoln penny exemplifies the fascinating intersection of design, history, production, and collecting. It is a coin that is at once ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary, because billions were minted and most remain worth only face value. Extraordinary, because within that massive production run exist coins of exceptional condition, subtle errors, and unique provenance that capture the imagination of collectors. It teaches patience, observation, and appreciation of both artistry and industrial craft. It reminds us that even the smallest object can hold layers of history, culture, and personal stories. The 1994 D penny may not make anyone a multimillionaire, despite internet myths. yet it continues to captivate collectors and enthusiasts around the world. Its presence in coin albums, mint sets, and personal collections ensures that it remains relevant decades after its creation. Each uncirculated coin, each minor error discovered, each story passed down about finding a coin in a jar or roll brings the coin to life. In that sense, the 1994 D penny is timeless. It is history, science, and art encapsulated in a 19mm copper-plated zinc disc. It is a symbol of continuity, a challenge for collectors, and a reminder that even a single cent can carry extraordinary stories across generations. As we set down our examination of this humble yet captivating coin, it is clear that the 1994 D penny is more than just metal stamped with numbers and letters. It is a mirror of American culture, a testament to minting craftsmanship, and a living link in a chain that stretches from Abraham Lincoln's legacy to present-day collectors. The next time you encounter a 1994 D penny, whether in a pocket, a jar, or a collection, pause to consider its story. Each coin carries its history, its journey, and the potential for discovery, proving that even the smallest coin in circulation can hold immense significance and capture the imagination of those who value the details of our shared numismatic heritage.